Hi, this is Jonathan from J5 Music. In this video, we're going to be looking at the latest update that Electron has brought out for Digitakt 2. So Digitakt 2 has received a big or significant firmware update, and it brings the latest version to 1.10. This was released in March 2025, and I'm just going to go through the main things that it's been added to the device and show you what it can do as per the update. So the first thing we're going to look at is the comb filter. So it's added a comb filter. So I've got this tune. So all I'm going to do is go to the machine, the filter, press function, and then on the machine. This brings us to our filter page. I'm just going to go down. You'll notice now we've got comb minus and comb plus. So if I just click on comb plus, head over to the filter page, page 1, and you can now see in there we have a nice comb filter. If I go over to the plus, oops. We can do all sorts of things with this filter. We can make all sorts of nice sound design things. If we key track it, we can play it on the chromatic keyboard or the keyboard, and it keeps in tune with whatever note we're playing. Compared to what it was before. And then we could add an envelope. So that is the comb filter that's been added, a really nice feature that can give your sound design a boost in creativity. Next up, they've added the routing of the distortion filter. So if we head over to the effects page, we can now see on D and H parameters, we have pre-filter, which does the sample rate reduction, and the post and pre-filter for the overdrive routing. So if we are on this sound again, and I add some sample rate reduction, this is going pre-filter. So this is going before the filter. Whereas now, if I turn this over to post, it is being added after the filter. So we can get some more nice textures with the sounds with that. It also applies to the routing of the overdrive as well. Next, we have mono sampling. So now it is possible for you to sample in mono. So before, if we had something coming in from the output, or the input, should I say, and it was just on the left-hand speaker, you could only record on the left-hand channel. But now, if we head over to our sample button or our record button, we can then select our source. So we can select from all these. If we have in selected, we could then change the channel to either have it stereo left and right, mono left, mono right, or mono left and right. So now it will sum both of the channels into mono. So if I went over to track 15, let's say, I can now see that we've got mono left and right. If I just did mono right, you see it's on the right hand channel, mono left on the left hand channel, and then stereo left and right is a stereo left and right. So that is a nice feature that they've added. It allows us to choose what stereo or mono recordings we want to do within the Digitakt itself. Then we have some added features in the setup menu. To enter the setup menu, we hold function plus filter. This takes us into this. What we have here is track swap. So this is a new feature where you can basically swap a track with another track. So if you've done something on track 15, let's say, and it's a kick, but you wanted that on track 1, you could easily now swap them 2 over. So if I just go yes into that, it tells you to hold 2 tracks to swap them. So if I hold 15 and then 1, you'll see that it has a little time bar, and then it'll swap the tracks. Staying in this menu, we can come down to velocity to volume. So what the velocity to volume does is it allows you to connect a keyboard to your Digitakt and use one of the selected curves within the actual velocity to volume menu. So here we have it off, either off, we have log, we have linear, we have exponential, or exponential 2, and you can see a nice little curve to show what it will do. So when you're pressing obviously your keyboard velocity, the signal between 1 to 127 MIDI will come in and it will play it within these curves that you've selected in this menu. And then last thing, if we just come down to key tracking, so key tracking is now available, and it is available within 4 destinations. So you can select your destinations, and then you can select the parameter to whatever it is that you want it to do. That way you can have key tracking to let's say do the frequency, or the decay time, let's say, and then you can set these parameters to what you would want the key tracking to do. Coming out of this menu now, but sticking with the same thing, if we go over to the mod page, the mod page has been given a nice update. So within this we can scroll down and it's now all nicely sort of organized into its own little categories. So each page has its own sort of category. So the source page, for example, we have all these different parameters where we can select our LFO as destination on. We can scroll down to the filter, to the ampli, and then the effects. Also, another little thing with this is if you hold function and then you go down, you can snap to the different menus, and then from there you can either scroll down with this or use the up and down arrows and then press yes to choose that certain parameter. So that is a nice little feature. It just speeds up your workflow a bit with that one. Next one is the sample. So if you have if you go into your samples by pressing function and then the samples, you can go into your drive. If you have folders, let's say, let's just go on this hats. What you can do now is directly load this onto a track. So if I went across here, you will see in this here, you can say load to track 15. This just again speeds up your workflow. If you're wanting the sound quickly loaded onto a track, you can do it this way by just pressing yes. And then last thing is a nice little shortcut. It is quicker now to turn on the tempo. So all you got to do is press tempo and then yes. And what this does is it turns on your metronome, turns it off. These are the main upgrades that Digitakt version 1.1 holds. There are other bug fixes and other features that they've added. If you head over to their website and see the release notes, you can have a look through each one of them notes. This is just a short video really to show you the main key points or the key ones that I sort of tend to go to use. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you'll have fun using this new update which came out on the 17th of March. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.